Hi guys, it's Amy, your golf coach. Welcome to Beginner Series Level 2. Today we're going to talk about the 8 o'clock position. As promised, we'll talk about what it is and give you an Aimeefied drill, a simple drill for you to work on. So 8 o'clock position is kind of the starting part of your hinging, so it's very important. And if your club is on plane and square at this position, your top of the backswing is going to look fantastic. It's not an exaggeration to say that the 8 o'clock position determines what you look like at the top. So let's get started. We worked on the takeaway last time. If you haven't, please go check it out because it is a continuous movement from that. So 8 o'clock position is if you draw a clock, 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock, and you take it back, boom. When your left arm, not your shaft, but your left arm is pointing at 8, we call that the 8 o'clock position. Here, you can tell, boom. The club is parallel to the ground, the shaft is parallel to the target, and you can't see your hands because the club head is covering my hands. That's being on plane. As I referred to in the last lesson, the takeaway lesson, a lot of golfers tend to flip and the club goes under the plane. Now you can see your hands also. Hands have moved away from your body. That is something you don't want to do because your contact is going to be inconsistent, lose a lot of power and accuracy that way. Or if you go outside, you can still see your hands. Boom, the club head is hiding your hands. You are on plane. Look at the club face, toe pointing up at the sky. That is called square at this point, but we do prefer to keep it about 5 to 10 degrees shut, facing to the ground slightly. We like that better actually. So those were some checkpoints for 8 o'clock position. So it's right after that first initial takeaway. This is where your wrist starts to break a little, meaning, let me show you the difference. If I were to keep my wrist nice and straight to 8 o'clock position, you see how hands got really high and club head is way low? Now you're going to just make up for it and compensate from here and then cock your wrist later at top of the swing, which is going to cause you to maybe go over a swing. If you go over, now that club gets really heavy in your hands, you have to do whatever you can to bring that club back to the golf ball. Either have to throw it and cast it, or you would have to go boom, and then you're gonna go over the top because your upper body is so into it to try and get that club back down. And either one of those swings, you're going to most likely gonna go really heavy and hit the ground before the ball, and then eventually that could lead to trying not to hitting it heavy and then doing that, not extending through correctly, hitting it thin. We don't want any of those, guys. That's why we are here, right? So if you're having issues with hinging, finding where the club should travel to, you should really look into this 8 o'clock position, guys. Keeping that club face on plane, that shaft parallel to the target and to the ground, and the hands can't track out, etc., etc., etc. It sounds so difficult, right? But of course, I'm going to Aimeefy the whole situation, meaning making it simple, fun, and effective. And I'm going to give you one little drill that's gonna help solve your hinging issues and position issues. You're gonna do a split grip. You're gonna grip your left hand in the normal position, and instead of gripping the right here, you're going to grip it farther down on the grip. Now, I'm not hitting golf balls, so I'm gonna go ahead and grab the shaft. Now set up to the golf ball like this. You're gonna hover the club off the ground, and then when you take it back, boom. Because you have a split grip on, when you do this, you're either going to feel like you're pressing down on the butt end of the club or you're pulling up on the shaft part of the club. I want you to feel more of the pushing down with the lead hand rather than pull up with your trail hand, because once you start like pulling up, your arc can get very inconsistent and we don't want that. So if you push away, you're always going to maintain your arc. So when you go boom, you're pushing, you're gripping down, feels like. See how this is tracking slightly outside the plane? You know, with the tour pros, you see some players that track outside. Above the plane isn't that that. But under the plane, we rarely see that because you have zero control once the club goes inside, and then it's just catch-up game to try and get that club face on the ball. And it's a terrible feeling when you're always doing a guessing game on your shots, right? If you're boom, square here, all you have to do is watch rest of my beginner series level 2 and complete your backswing, and boom, go as hard as you can because your club face is on plane and square. Let's do that drill one more time and hit some chip shots with it. I'm gonna do a regular grip, and then I'm gonna try and feel like my left hand is still pushing down a little bit, right? And then go. This is really going to eliminate your hands flipping the wrong way to try and hinge. I know a lot of people have questions, a lot of questions on how to hinge. The hinge kind of goes like this. See my hands here? Instead of rotating your hands to try and hinge, it really should be. I wasn't cocking this way. I was just pushing the butt end of the club away, kind of pushing the butt end of the club away. There was no rotational, just pushing. And obviously your arms are rotating around your body, so it'll look like I'm rotating, but I'm really not. I'm just pressing down on it. Let's try it again. I'm just pushing down, pushing down. How did it go, guys? It started off very complex, but it was super simple at the end, right? So try the Aimeefied drill. It's really going to help you to understand how it feels to take back and get into the correct 8 o'clock position, which will set you ready for the next step. And you would think the next step is half swing, but I have a surprise for you. Tune in for next lesson to get that beautiful swing going so you can hit the golf ball longer and straighter. Thanks for watching. Let's get really excited about this beginner series level 2 because I am. So thanks for watching. See you in the next one. Mwah.